American soldiers recently murdered two pregnant women, then crudely removed the bullets from their bodies, then washed the wounds in alcohol, then stabbed the dead bodies and reported that the women were found stabbed and bound when the soldiers arrived. Whew. General McChrystal backed up these guys until Afghani investigators uncovered the likely truth. On Sunday of this week, the general apologized for what, quote, international forces did. Is it any wonder that President Karzai is furious with the American military? This is all part of President Obama's war in Afghanistan. In Pakistan, next door, the president is waging a secret war and has unleashed more drones in 1 year than President Bush did in 8 years. Are soldiers fighting that war? No. CIA agents are. The authorization to use military force, which Congress enacted shortly after 9/11, is clearly unconstitutional. It has no target. It has no end. No one can concede defeat. No one can surrender. It permits every future president to attack whoever he or she wants for whatever reason he or she wants, wherever they want to go. Joining me now is one of America's great defenders of the Constitution, of personal liberty and freedom, and the author of the bestseller, End the Fed, Congressman Ron Paul. Congressman, I know you guys are off this week. I appreciate your time. Thanks, and welcome back to Freedom Watch.
Thank you, Judge. Good to be with you.
I thought we would talk a little bit about foreign policy, about military policy, especially in light of this scandal the other day. These soldiers obviously did a horrific thing. They're not an example of what every soldier does. The military must prosecute them now in light of what happened. But doesn't the president, don't those who set the American foreign policy realize what this does to the reputation of the United States of America in areas of the world where things like this happen and where the people who perpetrate it appear to get away with it?
And don't you think every Muslim around the world probably has heard about this story? Just like the stories and the pictures of the torture. They said that did irreparable harm to us once that circulated around the world. So it's a no-win situation for us. We're in there for the wrong reason, doing the wrong thing, and these kind of incidents just makes things so much worse for us. You just wonder what they're thinking about to pursue a policy like this.
When Lyndon Johnson wanted authority to invade North Vietnam, something he was secretly planning to do from before the time he labeled Barry Goldwater as a warmonger, he created the Gulf of Tonkin incident. We now know this never happened. The American public and the Congress believed the U.S. warships were fired on by North Vietnamese military, and so they gave him a resolution that authorized him to invade the North. We all know what happened on 9/11. But nevertheless, the Congress gave President George W. Bush and his successor, Barack Obama, and President Obama's successor, if this thing is not rescinded, the authorization to use military force against any target anywhere on the planet. This can't be lawful. The Congress could never have intended that this thing be so open-ended. Yet if you read it, it is open-ended. And presidents even use it in a non-public way, like dispatching the CIA to fight a secret war.
No, I think it's totally out of control, although the resolution did say that he was to go only after those individuals responsible for 9/11. Well, the Taliban and the government of Afghanistan had nothing to do with it, so it's being used outrageously so, and you're right. They have been able to justify this authority to go any place, anytime they want. It's endless war, and of course they use this as a declaration of war. Therefore, then they can set up their military courts and their tribunals and all the rest that goes on. So it's the whole idea of our foreign policy needs to be reversed. This idea that we are the policemen of the world and that we should be everywhere telling everybody what to do is an insane policy, and it's coming back to haunt us. The sooner we wake up, the better.
Now Pakistan is an ally. But why do members of Congress look the other way, Congressman Paul, when the United States bombs Pakistan, when by mistake it kills innocent people, when it does so using plastic drones out of the sky that are controlled from a computer in Langley, when it has troops on the ground that are out of uniform? Oh, let's see. Troops on the ground out of uniform. Doesn't that violate the laws of war? doesn't that allow the host country to declare that these people are unlawful combatants and have no rights? Aren't we basically doing in Pakistan some of the same things we've accused the bad guys of doing to us?
Yeah, and if we weren't so powerful, somebody would be charging us with war crimes. The Pakistan government, if it were a little bit stronger, maybe they would object. But, they're dependent on us. We go in there and we run roughshod over their government and their land. And then what do we do to pacify them? We send them more money and weapons. So we're just stirring the pot. That's all we're doing. And I just think we ought to just leave the whole area.
I agree with you. I just don't think, and I know you've said this yourself, that we can declare democracy by decree. I mean, this is a society, a culture, a set of values that are not shared by us, and you can't bring democracy at the point of a gun. What do you think the president, who must understand this, really wants to accomplish in Afghanistan? Is it the presidential lust for war? Because war brings political support. War lets you raise taxes. People are willing even to give up their freedoms in time of war. Or is there something else at work here?
I think it's a lot of those things, but I think mostly it's how they've been brought up, what they have learned, who their professors have been, what is the general attitude. And basically it has been that of intervention. And there are some of the neocons who feel like we're morally responsible for this. Then the oil people get involved and say we need to control the oil and the gas lines and the pipelines. Others, it becomes a religious notion, that we're obligated to do this in support of both Christian beliefs and the Jewish state. And it all adds up, and you get a lot of these coalitions together, and they want to redraw the boundaries of the Middle East, and that's what they're trying to do. But, I don't think it's going to turn out the way they want, because I think all our policies, whether it's been in Iraq or what we're threatening to do with Iran, it actually is helping Iran. I think that all this thing, Ahmadinejad and Karzai get together and talk about it, in spite of, our hostility to Ahmadinejad and all the support we have up till now given to Karzai. These two guys get together, just as the leaders, the Shiite leaders of Iraq go over and They talk to the Iranians. So I think we have, just created so much chaos, and I don't see any benefit to us.
Congressman Paul, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us on Freedom Watch.
Thank you, Judge. You
can catch today's show on foxnews.com/Freedom Watch and on Sirius 145 XM 168 or online at foxnewstalk.com at 6 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays. From New York, defending freedom. Until the next time, stay free, America.